You've got hired and now you are starting your first job as an online ESL teacher. But wait, you've actually got to start teaching now and your first class is coming up. What do? You might be thinking, oh, what do I have to do in order to get ready for this lesson? What do I have to do in terms of making sure that my tech works okay? Well, the good news is that all you need is a simple checklist so that you can feel ready, calm, and prepared for your first class. So today's session is all about that first class checklist, what you need to do step by step to help you prepare for your first lesson. Hi, my name's Catherine and I'm from the OET. I help support people, especially mums, start and succeed with their online ESL teaching career that they can do around their families. Today's session is all about that first online ESL lesson and a checklist to help make sure that your first lesson goes as smoothly as possible. So, job number one that you need to do is check your tech setup. Before your lesson starts, you need to make sure that the technology you're using is working. Crucial word here is online ESL teacher. So everything is going to be online, and if your tech fails, your lesson is going to cut out and not work. And that's not going to be great for your pay packet. So a few things that you need to check. Make sure the device that you're going to be teaching on is fully charged. Ideally, have it plugged in so it doesn't run out of charge as well midway through your lesson. And double check as well that your device isn't due a system update. So it's not going to cut out during your lesson and restart, which will then take time to get you back into the class if it's not already finished by the time the updates have expired. Don't ask how I know about that. Next, make sure that your internet connection is stable so that it's not going to drop out during your live lessons. A good thing to do is actually purchase an Ethernet cable, which is a cable that links from your Wi-Fi box to your teaching device like your Mac or your computer, your laptop. It just provides your internet with some extra stability so there won't be as much risk of the internet dropping out whilst you're teaching. Next, double check your equipment such as your webcam and your microphone. Ensure that your webcam is working. If you're just starting to teach online, then it's likely that the webcam that you have is not external, it's actually part of your laptop or your computer. So just double check the camera is clean and that it's functioning okay. And then make sure that your headset is working. So plug that in, do a couple of sound checks, make sure you can hear properly and that the microphone is working as well. Then finally, log into your platform. I know that companies ask for 5 minutes. Make sure you're logged in 5 minutes before, but it's a good idea for your first class of the day to be 10 to 15 minutes early. So that ensures that any last minute issues that might crop up aren't causing you too much stress. You've got time to fix them and resolve them before the class is due to start. 5 minutes just is not long enough for your first lesson of the day to go through all of the checks. And what you can do is actually log into your class early, do all of the checks, make sure that everything is working okay before your student arrives, make sure the lesson materials are live as well, and that your student's going to be able to see and hear you and that you can hear as well. So the next thing that we need to do after we've done our tech setup is review the lesson materials. Now, most platforms do provide lesson content for you, so you don't have to worry about creating anything yourself. You need to spend time reading through the lesson slides so you know what you're going to be teaching your student. Double check what the lesson objectives or the goals are for today's session so that you can ensure that you're covering that by the end of the session with your students. What vocabulary are you going to be covering? What kind of activities will you be doing with the students? And then when you know what you're going to be teaching, you can get a couple of ideas of, oh, okay, this reward system would work really well with that lesson material, or, oh, I know an activity that we could do to help review the content in a more fun, engaging way than simply reading something off of a slide. It helps you to stay on track with what's required within that lesson. Avoid any surprises of, oh no, I didn't know we were teaching that. I need to just quickly read up on what this means and what we have to do there. And it keeps you confident. So you know how to go about teaching those materials to your student. I personally recommend that you look up the lesson materials as early as possible. Sometimes they're not dropped until 24 hours before the class, so in that case you don't have that long to review the materials. But if you can see them any earlier, that's a good idea, because then you're able to create some activities that are designed to go alongside the lesson materials. So if your students race through the materials and they finish really early and you still got 15 minutes left of the lesson, you're not panicking and fumbling about thinking, what can I do? You've got something ready to go and you feel more confident in your class. So try to review the materials as early as possible, but if not, a good time to do so is before you are going to start for the day. And next up, we have making sure to build a rapport and learn a little about the students you're teaching. You don't need this as much for trial classes because the students that you see are different every single class, but when you start to gain regular student bookings, those students are going to be with you for potentially a long time. I had students for multiple years, up to 5 years in a row. So it's not a very nice experience for your students if you don't dedicate any time within that time period to get to know them and personalize their learning experience. You are a teacher at the end of the day, but you can be a great teacher if you are showing up to class and the students can feel your warmth and they can feel that you want to be there to help support them. It makes a huge difference and positive impact. So if there is some information, check that out that the company might provide you. They might provide you with the student's age, any previous lesson notes if they've come from another teacher, the English level right now, and maybe a bit about your students. And that will help you to adjust the lesson as to what pace that you provide, if they're a beginner student or an advanced student, and also prepare some activities based on their interests or their age range as well. When you're in class with your student, obviously you can ask them questions each week to get to know them a bit better, and you can compile kind of like a student report, an all about me sheet, that you can keep up to date with any new information you learn about your students so you can personalize the lesson experience for them. Keeping in line with that, another idea is to prepare your introduction. So for each class that you're going to teach, you need to introduce yourself. That's number one in the class. So it's important to say your name. You could offer a friendly greeting, maybe even say where you're from, but also ask and invite the student to share with you too. So, hello, my name's Catherine. What's your name? Nice to meet you. Okay, so this is great for children. Obviously, maybe don't do that with an adult. But for children, it's just fun. They're engaged and they hear this friendly voice. They hear your name, they introduce themselves, and then you're having a nice handshake as a warm greeting and a welcome. This is a safe learning environment for them. You're setting the tone for the rest of the lesson. Something else to think about alongside preparing the lesson materials is a few extra tools. Now, we did talk about activities, but what we didn't mention is some extra physical tools and props that could help you with any kind of lesson. So for example, a small whiteboard could be a really good item that you can draw on, write different words on, and hold that up for your students. You can even make a reward system with a whiteboard. A notebook is really handy. I used a notebook for every single lesson that I taught, whether it was to write down some activity ideas for the next time I taught that lesson. Maybe it was, oh, the students just told me XYZ. Let's write that down and add that into their file and their details of all about me. It could just be writing some notes. So when I have to give feedback to parents, I've got some notes to refer to about that class. Because you could be teaching quite a few classes back to back in the day. So it might be that you don't get to do your feedback reports till the end of the day. And by then you might have forgotten what Johnny did 5 hours ago. It's a good idea to keep a notebook and just write some simple notes to refer back to. Have a couple of props. I always had some different finger puppets and a full hand puppet as well that I could utilize for my shy students or my very young students to engage them into the class. And of course, you want a variety of reward systems as well to encourage them and motivate them to keep trying and putting in their best effort in every single lesson. All of this helps to increase engagement and provide a positive learning experience. finally, we want to think about how are you going to end the lesson? So are you going to review some key vocabulary, making sure that you're giving feedback directly to the student as well, keeping it in a sandwiched approach so you've got something positive to say, a encouraging note of something they could improve on for next time, and then ending on something positive as well. And then of course our clear goodbyes. And this is a good thing to keep as a routine, so keep it the same every single time, because that then is a key to the students of, oh, it's the end of class now, we're going to be finishing in a moment. Now, just a final point is that not every class is going to be perfect. Not every class is going to go the way that you planned out. That's just the life of an online ESL teacher. Things break, things stop working. Tech problems happen. Students aren't always, wanting to come to class. Things happen, and it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. This is just part and parcel of the job. What helps you though get through those things is to be prepared to do your checks, and then you have more control of the possible scenarios that could go wrong. If you've completed your tech checks before class, it's highly likely your tech's not going to go wrong in the lesson. It could happen, but it's likely that it won't happen. If you've prepared the lesson materials and you know what you're teaching and you've created some additional activities, it's highly likely that you'll increase your students' engagement in class and the lesson will flow well, and that they won't become bored and disinterested in the lesson. So these are things that are in our control and things that we can do. And if something does go wrong, you're not the first teacher that it has happened to. It happens to all of us. So make sure to stay calm, communicate with your student if possible about what's happening, or I'm just doing this, or I'll be just 1 minute, and just take your time. And then if the company asks about it, you can provide feedback on XYZ happened in such and such lesson. Mistakes happen, tech can go wrong, and things can happen outside of our control. What can help is to stay calm, assess the situation, use the resources that can help you, and prepare as much as possible in advance. I hope this session really helped to give you a checklist that you can use for your first online ESL class and even future classes down the road as well. If you do need a bit more support, then make sure you stay subscribed to this channel. I'll see you soon, friends. Bye!